What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Just back giving another video. This is your one-stop shop for anime and manga. Let's get into it. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone for subscribing. If you're new here, you like my content, you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so no post another video. Also follow me on Twitter. Links will be in the description. It's about time. We are going to do the Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 13 review. I'm super excited because this chapter just went completely crazy. I cannot wait to discuss it with y'all. So I'm just going to stop and we're going to get right into it. So we picked up right where we left off, where Jiraiya just shot down Boruto and he's ready to give him the decisive and killing blow. And that's when another sentient claw grime comes up, and his name is Mamamushi, and he interrupts Jiraiya and he tells him, listen, we finally discovered it. We realized that Boruto does have a accomplice that's working with him. He's the one that's feeding him intel about us, and he's the one that's helping him out trying to get rid of all of us. So they realize that Boruto's accomplice is the one that's giving him all the intel on not just themselves but their core, that thorn soul bulb. Mamushi picks up the bulb of Hidari and he asks, is Hidari finally dead? And Jiraiya just replies with telling him he's not really dead yet, so let's just retreat and we can work things out that way. So Jiraiya and Mamushi, they retreat back to their hideout, and that's when Boruto slightly opens his eyes, and then you get like somewhat of a flashback. So when they do the flashback, you see Boruto, he has his longer hair, and of course it's basically the exact same hairstyle as Sasuke. He looks almost exactly like Sasuke, with the blade, with the cloak, and with his obviously one messed up eye, and literally he has the same hairstyle. So he's there, he's hiding from other shinobi. That's where a toad comes up behind him and he tells him, listen, they're after you. The only way to get to safety is if you put your hand on my back and I'm going to get you out of here. Obviously, Boruto's a little bit hesitant because he's like, who the hell are you? First of all, what the hell are you? And he's a little bit hesitant because he doesn't really know if he can trust the toad. And the toad does let him know, like, listen, if I wanted to alert everyone else that you were here, I would just did it covertly. I wasn't going to come up and just start talking with you. So Boruto puts his hand on the toad's back, and that's when him and the toad teleport through summoning jutsu to a new ally. Boruto comes up from the summoning jutsu and he sees a man and he's wondering, who the hell are you? What are you even doing? Are you a friend or foe? He's a little bit hesitant, and Boruto came and recognized this man, and we all know who it is. It's Kashin Koji. For Boruto to recognize him, he picks up his shattered mask, showing it, and obviously Boruto puts two and two together. You know, he's Kashin Koji, and he's asking all these questions like, why did you help me? What are you? Are you even like my friend or foe? Kashin Koji, basically just with his calm demeanor, he says, look, my name is Kashin Koji. I am an artificial human being that was created by Amato. And obviously we all know Boruto does not have any good memories with Kashin Koji because he was trying to kill basically him and everyone that he knew. And Boruto really thinks he's an enemy. He's a little bit hesitant because, you know, Boruto's been running from so long. And at this point, Sasuke has already been taken captive as the tree. So Boruto's really by himself. And we don't know how long he's been by himself, but we do know it's been a while where he doesn't really trust no one. He really has that innate survival instinct really happening right now. And then we get Kashin Koji. He asks one of the craziest lines, and he asks him, have you been Boruto Uzumaki the entire time? And that's when Boruto realizes, wait, how do you know I'm Boruto Uzumaki, the son of the 7th Hokage? Because you're supposed to be inflicted with the omnipotence. Now, it's at this point that Kashin Koji has been inflicted with the omnipotence. He does know that, obviously, Boruto is the one that killed the 7th Hokage, while Kawaki is the one that is the son of the 7th Hokage. So those are his memories. But he realizes he has a way of knowing that the situations have been flipped. He has a way of realizing that Boruto and Kawaki, for whatever reason, their complete stories have been completely flipped around, and Boruto is trying to figure out how can you possibly even know this, and it's a little bit weird that the omnipotence is not really afflicting you. So while Kashin Koji is there telling him, listen, I know that these situations have been flipped, I know that your life is not really what it's supposed to be in my memories, Boruto is trying to figure out, how are you possibly even knowing this? And that's when Kashin Koji says he knows because he's seen everything ahead of time. So even though his memories have been afflicted, he's already seen the entire outcome ahead of time, so he knows what's going on. And that's why he understands that even though I don't really fully grasp the ability of omnipotence, he basically knows that you're Boruto Uzumaki, you're supposed to be the son of the 7th Hokage, while Kawaki is the one that actually hid the 7th Hokage away, and that's how the world is supposed to be. So his memories obviously are affected with the omnipotence, but because he's seen things ahead of time, he understands that that's not the case. And here's probably like one of my favorite parts. I love this type of backstory. So we get a little bit of backstory on Kashin Koji, and basically what we get is how he is able to see the future, more or less. Kashin Koji explains to Boruto that he was specifically designed to defeat Ishiki so that he can just stop the God Tree completely. That's the reason Amado created him. So when he attempted to stop Ishiki, his power was far stronger than he imagined, and he lay there basically almost dying. And it's at that point that he just saw everything. He saw every single possible future all at once. He's seeing everything that he possibly can. And this is where I got a little apprehensive about the chapter, because I'm like, okay, you just pulled out some crazy OP. Now all of a sudden he can see the entire future, all possible futures. He can see them laid out. Come on now. Like, I was a little hesitant about that situation, because I'm like that, and especially it just happened out of nowhere. And I do like the fact that Boruto even said, like, how is this even possible? So just out of nowhere you're able to see all possibilities, all futures at the same time. Like, how you shouldn't be able to do that, even though you're technically not human. You're still just an ordinary shinobi. So because Kashin Koji saw all possible futures, he knows more or less what's going on in the current timeline that he's in. So he tells Boruto, I know more or less that in one of the possible futures, you and Kawaki's stories get flipped. Now, he doesn't know every single thing that's happening at the time. That's why he's currently confirming everything while he's talking with Boruto, because he's making sure which timeline he's specifically in right now and which one he's seeing. Because with Kashin Koji, he's able to see a myriad of different timelines all at the same time, whole bunch of different possibilities. So Kashin Koji begins to explain how he obtained that power to see all these possible futures. And he goes and he tells Boruto, I'm sure that Amado has told you about Shibai Otsutsuki, who's basically the god of the Otsutsuki. He's devoured so many god trees, so many planets, that he just basically awakened to ultimate just power, omnipotence, god. He is just has all those special type of jutsus. Now, Shibai Otsutsuki has so many just broken jutsus that is called Shinjutsu. That's specifically what he has. Those are just his personal abilities that he's obtained from gaining this type of power. And Kashin Koji goes on to say that when Amado created the Kara, he injected some of Shibai Otsutsuki's DNA into each of the Kara members, and some of them did awaken those Shinjutsus, some of them didn't. Now, it was completely random on which people awakened Shinjutsus and which didn't. So in the case for the people that did awaken it, you had people like Code, who can use claw marks, Daemon, who can reflect attacks, and then you had Ida, who basically has that omnipotence ability. And the other members of Kara, they didn't awaken anything. Delta didn't awaken nothing. Kashin Koji didn't awaken nothing. Until at that point, he doesn't even really understand what caused him to awaken that ability. But he awakened the ability to see every possible future all at the same time. And he calls his ability Prescience. Now, he's able to see all different possibilities of the future, and he's able to move accordingly. Now, he can't really affect the timeline, so he can see everything that's going on. The thing is that because every decision, obviously like with the real timeline, every decision that he makes or someone else makes changes the flow of time. The timeline is forever changing, so he doesn't know 100% guarantee what's going to happen. He knows a whole bunch of different possibilities, and he knows possibilities that are more likely to happen and others that are less likely to happen. So it's not like he can go ahead and see the future. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows what you're going to say. No, he knows, okay, in this specific timeline where Boruto and Kawaki flipped, this is going to happen. So more than likely, this next step is going to happen. Oh, but wait, if something else occurs, it may change and divert the timeline again. And he knows everything. So he knows all the different diversions, all the different paths. Is basically him trying to figure out which path he's currently on, and basically how to get to his specific future that he wants to happen. And to basically try to prove this point that he knows things that has not happened, that things that happen a little bit differently, he's seen different futures. So he's seen futures where the 7th Hokage Naruto, where he died. He's seen futures where Boruto and Sarada died because Kawaki killed him. He's seen futures where Kawaki gets devoured by Code and he becomes a god and Code just destroys the world. So Kashin Koji has seen all these possibilities play out, and because obviously in this specific situation that they're in, Boruto and Kawaki get flipped, he knows the likely outcome is going to be a little bit different. And Boruto basically, it's weird because in this chapter, Boruto's like the reader. Boruto is telling him, listen, if you know the future, shouldn't you know what's going to happen? And that's where Kashin Koji tells him, listen, I know what's going to happen. I know possibilities of what's going to happen. But basically, this ability really just gives me intel. So he can either like see a possibility future where Boruto got cornered by the other shinobi and he possibly either fights there or dies, or he does what he just did now and he can pull Boruto away and he can basically start training Boruto. He can teach Boruto different jutsus that he is supposed to learn in the future, and he can just teach them him now so that he can be as powerful as he is and he can take down the enemies that he needs to. So Kashin tells him, listen, I can teach you all the future jutsus that you're supposed to learn. I can teach you them right now, and also I can show you how to save your sensei Sasuke from that god tree. Kashin goes on to tell him that, listen, we're technically in the worst possible future right now where Code will lose complete control of the god tree and they'll basically gain sentience. So they'll become walking and sentient god trees, be able to talk, be able to think, and they'll have a mind of their own and they'll do whatever they want. So at this point, Kashin tries to tell Boruto, listen, we can attempt to possibly kill the roots of the god tree and stop the sentient god trees from taking hold. But he's like, that's a very low possibility. It's not really going to happen. So instead, once the sentient god trees, Jura, Hidari, once all of them actually do finally awaken, at that point, I'm going to make sure I train you so that you're ready to defeat them when it comes to that. Kashin goes ahead and he tells him, listen, Boruto, the most dangerous of these sentient god trees is Jura, their leader. And if you are not careful, you will die. He is supposed to kill you in different futures, so you have to be strong enough to take him on. And basically, all of the worst possible scenarios is where the sentient god trees, they come to life and they kill Boruto off and they absorb Kawaki and then they just destroy the planet that way. That's essentially the most worst possible future there is. And Kashin is trying his best and letting Boruto know, listen, you have to train. I'm going to train you, and this is what we're going to do to make sure that this possible future does not happen. And then that's where we go ahead and we have Boruto being his Boruto self, basically like a Naruto clone. He says, listen, no matter what, I'm not going to kill Kawaki. I'm going to save my brother because I'm going to knock some sense into him. That sounds a lot like his father. He's doing the Naruto universe protagonist thing. No matter what, I'm going to save Kawaki. That's what he wants to do to make sure he can do all that. Good for him. I think he should just kill Kawaki, but that's just my 2 cents of it. After that, Boruto puts on his headband and he says, listen, I'm going to defeat these sentient god trees. I'm also going to kill Code. If it has to be done, I'm going to be the one to save everyone. At that point, we cut back to the present, and that's where you see Boruto. He's been shot, so he's weak. Sarada's trying to heal him, but it's a little bit rough. That's when Himawari wakes up. She goes ahead and she heals Sarada because she's also injured as well. And I don't know specifically if she was using like healing ninjutsu or if she was using the abilities of Kurama. Now, from everyone's reaction, I'm pretty sure she was using the Kurama's chakra because at that point, Sarada couldn't believe it. Konohamaru was like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? Like, he's never seen anything like that. Now Himawari goes, okay, I healed her because the wounds weren't that severe. And that's when Kawaki tells Himawari, look, stay away from Boruto. He's very dangerous. And he gives the signal to Konohamaru, listen, go ahead and do what you have to do. And that's when Konohamaru, before they even heal Boruto, they put on Amato's custom sealing jutsu cuffs to make sure that Boruto can use any type of ninjutsu. And that's when Kawaki does what Kawaki does, always messing up everything. He finds Kashin toad inside Boruto's jacket. He looks at the toad and he just destroys it. So then we cut away to Jura and the Sentient Ten Tails, and that's where he has the Thorn Soul Bulb of Hidari. He places it on like the pedestal, and the god trees that are around it, they actually basically rebuild Hidari completely. And then Jura goes and asks him, hey Hidari, is that you? And Hidari does respond, and even Jura's a little bit surprised, like, oh, so you do recognize who you are, so you do retain like your memories after you've basically been reborn. And that's when the female sentient god tree, she tells Jura, listen, I can't wait, I'm chomping at the bits, I need to get everything prepared because I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. And that's when she pulls like another Thorn Soul Bulb out of like the Ten Tails god tree specifically, and it looks like they're about to create another living being. And that's where the chapter ends. And I'm super excited because we got a lot of great detail from the chapter. I'm super excited because I just want to see what's going to happen next. I hate the fact that this manga series is monthly. It really needs to be weekly, or at least bi-weekly, but honestly, this chapter is probably one of the better ones that we've had in a while. So that was it for my Boruto review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for making this fun to video. Let me know down in the comments what you currently thinking about for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex and what are your thoughts on this chapter specifically. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again. If you're new to my channel, make sure you like, comment, follow me on Twitter if you haven't. This is your boy Just. I'm off this.